And hello everyone, welcome back to another C++ tutorial. So in a previous tutorial, we covered reading and writing two files. In this tutorial, we'll be learning about define and the #if macro. So first, let's do the fun one, which I think is define, because you can make some funny code jokes with this at least. Or you could make your code just a bit less insufferable to write at times. For example, we can say #define, and now we can specify something to be defined as something else. For example, number, and here we can just say int. Now number here will be the same as int. It's like an alias. So we can say number and num is equal to 20. This is completely valid. This right here, it's an integer, as you can see here. But we are saying number. Define allows us to, in a sense, just create an alias for a different keyword. So now we can use number or int. It doesn't matter. This here can be very useful, especially if you might have like a really long piece of sentence code you have to type. Then you can, instead of typing that entire long thing, you could just make it one word. Or if you want to change a word of something to this and do something else instead, then this could also work. But yeah, that's about it. There's not much more to define at this point in our C++ course. But just for now, you can know that it does this. I can even make int Steve. Now whenever you say Steve, you're saying int, but you can say Steve num or Steve sexy, because I know I am. Anyhow, so that is define. Cool. Now this one is a little bit more complicated. It's a bit more complex in the back end, but I think this is about the best time to tell you about it. Now sometimes when you compile your code, you have code that runs at compile time. So when the code gets compiled, we can use this code that while it's compiling to run and maybe hide or show different pieces of code. For example, let's say if something is true, then at the end when we have compiled our program, there should be something available. But if something is false, there shouldn't. So to give an example, we can say #if, not a normal if, this one is a #if. We can just specify one, that's good enough. And then #endIf. Then in here, we can specify code that should be part of the program during once the program has compiled. So cout, I am cool. And this is a very basic example, but this can open up many doors for you in the future. Now if we do this, the code will be part of the program once we compile it. And if we make it 0, the code won't, because 0 is false. Now this is a very basic example of what we have. Usually you'd have a special variable or something to determine whether this right here is executing or not. Because you maybe get some, let's say if this variable that also exists at compile time, if this variable is true during compile time, then include this code. Or if something is passed in, then make sure that that something determines if something is available in compile time. It's a very complex topic, especially for how early it is in our C++ stages, but this could be very helpful once you get to know more about C++. But just take note, this if statement here, once we compile the program, this line here, or however many lines you put here, this will not be in the executable. This will basically be removed from the executable. You can think of it as like that, because during compile time, it will check this #if, and if it's false, it's not going to include this. And you could have of course put a dynamic value here, but you get my point. And if it's true, then it will put that code in the executable. As you can see here, now it's lighted up. And yeah, that's that. I don't want to go too deep into if and endIf. However, I did want to just touch it maybe for like a future tutorial, or maybe just for future use so you know about it. But yeah, that is all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next C++ tutorial.